Every now and then a comment just sticks in your brain. Not because it's insightful or thought provoking, because it's so cosmically stupid, it practically echoes across space and time. I made a video about how a very privileged group of people on the internet who believe piracy is their right. Like they were handed a divine tablet from the sky saying, "Thou shalt take digital books for free." And one comment stuck out. Someone wrote, and I quote, "Piracy is the key to decentralisation of culture." And they were also absolutely disgusted that YouTube dare recommend my video to them. How dare this filthy algorithm interrupt their noble mission of sticking it to the man from their $1,200 laptop and a Starbucks and with a $9 drink and a Screw Capitalism t-shirt, probably bought on Amazon. I can practically hear the click-clack of their keyboard as they type that from the comfort of their own privilege. Welcome to this episode of The Bald Book Geek. My name is David James, and welcome. Remember to like, subscribe, and if you hit that hype button, that would be recommended. Also, if you want exclusive content, early access, and ad-free versions of my videos, please check out my Substack, Patreon, or consider becoming a YouTube channel member. Let's be very clear. Piracy is not some noble rebellion. You're not Robin Hood. You're not decentralising culture. Far from it, actually. You're just taking someone else's work for free because you feel entitled to it. This weird myth that piracy is some anti-establishment act completely falls apart the second you actually look how art is made. When you pirate someone's book, be it trad or indie, you're not striking a blow against a big corporation. 99% of the time, you're taking from the small creators who are already barely scraping by. When you pirate something, you're removing money from the creative ecosystem. If a creator can't make money from their art, they can't keep creating it. It's that simple. And I can already hear the next argument forming in someone's head, but everything should be free. Sorry, Karen. I'm sorry, but your oat milk latte isn't free. Your laptop isn't free. The shoes you're wearing, that god-awful t-shirt, and those 90s sunglasses aren't free, are they? Why should someone else's blood, sweat, and years of hard work magically be free because it's in digital form and you feel it should be? Although I will say, the prices of some ebooks are ridiculous. It's a digital file, but that's a different argument. Now let's actually talk about this word they love to throw around, decentralisation. Decentralisation sounds cool, doesn't it? It's one of those shiny buzzwords that gets thrown into every tech bio manifesto. Right next to Web3 will change everything, and blockchain is the future of art. But here's the thing. Human societies have never been fully decentralized. Not once. Not in tribes, not in empires, not in any community. Why? Because people naturally form structure. We're a hierarchical species. There will always be a center of gravity. This isn't ideology, it's psychology. And according to social psychology and leadership engineering research, humans tend to organize themselves into groups with leaders, influencers, and outliers. Even in supposed leaderless groups, leaders emerge organically. Someone always takes charge. And when it comes to culture, there will always be a central hub, whether it's a physical place like Paris in the early 20th century, or digital platforms like YouTube. There's always going to be a center. You can't decentralize culture any more than you can decentralize gravity. It's a nice idea, but it doesn't work in practice. What really gets me is how much privilege this argument drips with. This is always, without fail, coming from someone who has enough disposable income to own expensive tech, have a solid internet connection, and live a fairly comfortable life. They're not on the margins. They're not oppressed rebels in the shadows. They're sitting in Starbucks telling working class authors and small artists that they should deal with their work being pirated because art belongs to everyone. No, it doesn't. Art belongs to the person who created it. Access to culture is not the same thing as entitlement to free culture. If you genuinely can't afford something, or just don't want to spend money, here's a radical idea. Don't buy it. Spend your money on things you actually need. Use a library. Borrow a book. Or, and I know this is wild, live without it. Not everything is owed to you. Even if piracy became the dominant way people consume media, culture would still re-centralize around something. Platforms, task makers, influencers. Whatever shape it takes, someone will be at the top of the structure. Look at what happened with file sharing in the 2000s. Remember Napster? It was supposed to be free music forever. And what happened? The entire music industry reshaped itself around Spotify, a single, centralized platform with algorithmic control over what you hear. Piracy didn't decentralize culture, it handed it to another gatekeeper. The same thing happens with books. If you can't sell books, small press dies. If small press dies, only the big five remain. Congratulations, your decentralisation just made culture more centralised, not less. So let's take this a little deeper, into who we are as a species. Humans are tribal. We form groups, we look for leaders, elders, task makers, people to look up to, even online, where the premise of everybody can have a voice. Well, it didn't take long before we formed hierarchies. Some voices get louder, some become leaders. Culture mirrors this. There will always be creators, always consumers, always an orbit. That's not a bug, it's the system. It's how we are structured internally on a psychological level. See, I'm putting my degree to good use here. So when people shout decentralized culture, what they're really shouting at is human nature. Piracy isn't some grand act of rebellion, it's theft. And no, you're not Che Guevara for torrenting a fantasy novel. You're just someone refusing to accept that creative work has value. And this is the part they never want to hear. When you steal from small creators, you're not hurting some faceless corporation. You're hurting the kid writing stories in their kitchen table after a shift. You're hurting the illustrator putting in all-nighters. You're hurting the musician who saved up to record their first album. Piracy didn't and doesn't decentralize culture, it bleeds it dry. If you want decentralization, support small creators. Maybe buy from local indie stores. If you want to back Kickstarters, do it. Share their work if you can't afford it. Retweet them, post them, put them in your stories on Insta. Boost their voice. That's how culture spreads outwards, not by gutting it. So did the person who was disgusted that YouTube recommended my video to them. Don't worry, I'm just as disgusted by your bad argument.